Welcome to English Stories, where captivating tale becomes your pathway to English mastery. Immerse yourself in enchanting narratives designed to enhance your vocabulary and conversation skill. With our carefully crafted collection, learning English becomes enjoyable and effective. Mystery, romance, adventure, fantasy, we have stories for every taste and levels. Join our community of English learners where each story is a stepping stone to fluent conversation. Subscribe now and let the magic of English stories transform your English language journey. Friend, this is a story of a greedy man. Sanjay was one of the wealthy men of the village. In front of his house there stood a big tree, and every afternoon he used to place his cot under the tree and relax upon it. The tree would shade him with its umbrella of thick leaves while he had his nap. One day, Sanjay came out of his house and found Pratik near the well sitting in the shade of the tree. "You oaf!" he shouted. "Who permitted you to sit in the shade of my tree?" "Kind sir," the man replied, "was feeling very hot after walking a long distance in the sun, so I sat in the shade of the tree to take some rest." The man replied. "Away with you," shouted Sanjay angrily. "The tree is mine. I planted it, watered it, and nurtured it with my own hands. The shade of the tree is therefore mine, and no one else can sit under it." Pratik took a deep breath and said, "Sir, I love the shade of your tree so much that I cannot leave it. And since you won't allow me to sit under your tree, let us come to an agreement. For how much will you sell me the shade of this tree?" Sanjay pricked up his ears at the word sell. "Well, give me 150 rupees and you can have the shade of my tree," Sanjay barked. "The timber is yours, the leaves are yours, and the roots as well, so I will give you only 50 rupees for the shade of the tree and nothing more." Saying this, Pratik got up and started walking away. Sanjay called him back and said, "Give me 75 rupees. Pratik replied, "Not a paise more," and continued to walk away. But at the end of the bargain was struck and the price fixed was 50 rupees. In the presence of the village elders, Pratik paid the sum of 50 rupees to Sanjay for the use of shade of the big tree in front of Sanjay's house. Everyone in the village knew that Pratik must be up to some kind of mischief, but Sanjay was extremely happy that he had got 50 rupees for the sale of mere shade of the tree. Every day after that, Pratik would come and sit in the shade of the tree. He would also call the village idlers like himself to come and sit with him, and he would invite the cattle boys to bring their cattle and tether them under the tree too. Not content with this, Pratik with his following of vagabonds, cows, buffaloes and street dogs moved with the shadow wherever it went. When the shadow fell on the front veranda of Sanjay's house, Pratik was there with his retinue. When it lay in his drawing room, he was there also, and finally when it fell in his backyard, he would be there too. Sanjay lost his temper and shouted, "Pratik, you are a wicked man. What right you have to come into my veranda or into my drawing room or my backyard with all your ragamuffin friends, cattle and dogs?" Pratik sweetly replied, "Sir, did I or did I not buy the shadow of your tree? Therefore, do I not the right to go wherever my purchase leads me?" A few days later, the wedding of Sanjay's daughter was being celebrated. The bridegroom's relatives had arrived, and all the rich people of the village and other villagers nearby had come too. The wedding feast was in process. When the shadow of the tree fell on the house, in came Pratik with his following of idlers, cattle and dogs. The guests could not understand why such a motley crowd had come to the wedding. They asked Pratik to explain the reason for their presence, and Pratik told them about his buying of the shadow of the tree. When the guests heard the story, they all laughed loud and long. Sanjay felt very humiliated and was on the verge of tears. He fell at Pratik's feet and begged him, saying, "Take back your 50 rupees, man, and leave me alone. Price have risen, so I will not sell the shadow of your tree back to you for anything less than 300 rupees, replied Pratik. Happy to get rid of Pratik at any cost, Sanjay went into his house, unlocked his safe, took out the 300 rupees and gave the money to Pratik. The next day, Pratik bought some new clothes for himself and invited all his friends for a big feast. Sanjay had realized that it never pays for a man to be too greedy. So friends, if you like the story, please don't forget to press the bell icon, like, share and subscribe the channel. Now let's see the vocabulary means important words from this story.